You all know I love numbers, and in case you were counting, it's been 1,555 days since Kawhi Leonard and Paul George teamed up in LA. Now, since then, the Clippers, they reached the postseason 4 out of 5 seasons with 1 conference finals appearance. Not too bad for a franchise who had only reached the playoffs 27% of the time before 2019. But expectations are much higher than that now. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are expected to be ready for opening night. And do not forget that Russell Westbrook was re-signed after joining the team in the middle of last season. And head coach Ty Lue, he's entering his 5th year at the helm with the club. Our Malika Andrews caught up with Coach Lue yesterday.
Joining us now is Clippers head coach Ty Lue, and as you can see, we should all be jealous of him because of the gorgeous background that he is sitting in front of in Hawaii. I think we all should just move the show there. But Ty, let's jump right in because you've said that the Clippers, they're going to take the regular season seriously this year. Where has the team fallen short in the past, and how is it going to look different this year?
Well, I think people took the answer in a different way than what I meant. Yesterday had a chance to really clear it up. Not that our guys, and myself didn't take the regular season seriously. It's just that when you have championship aspirations and you want to win a championship, you always think about the long haul and the big picture of, getting to the playoffs with our guys healthy, making sure that, we can get through the season without guys being injured. And so sometimes you kind of lose vision of the regular season because you're so fixated on winning a championship and getting to the playoffs. And so when I said that, it was just more so that let's make sure we do a great job in the regular season of preparing us for the playoffs instead of preparing for the playoffs without getting there first. So that's basically what I meant.
Right. You want to take those steps in order to get to that ultimate destination of where you want to go, but those steps matter just as much. You mentioned health. That's such a big thing for your team, for any team. And Kawhi said at Media Day that he really shouldn't be mocked for load management in Toronto. He was injured. It was something that he needed to do in order to get back right. But how do you think the player resting policy is going to impact your team in particular?
I don't think there's an impact on our team in particular because our guys play when they're healthy. When they're hurting, it's a different situation, and that's for any team. Like, you don't want to put your guys on the floor if they have a chance to hurt themselves worse or to be in worse shape. So we got to make sure we're doing right by the players. That's first and foremost. And then after that, whatever happens, happens. But you can't, take a chance on putting guys on the floor when they're hurt and injured. So when our guys are not playing, most of the time they're hurt.
How many games would you like to see Kawhi play in?
If we can get PG and Kawhi to play in 65, 70 games, that changed our team dramatically. And so I just know that, when they're feeling good, when they don't have the knick-knack, when they don't have the injuries, our guys are going to play. And so if we can keep them healthy to play 65, 70 games, then we become an elite team in this league.
I have to ask, you've coached against James Harden. What do you think of him as a player?
I don't know.
Fair enough. I know that the starting power forward position, it has been a point of discussion, but would you like to give us a sneak preview? Who could we see in the starting lineup in the preseason?
To be honest, Malika, I really don't know. We're going to try a few different guys out. Maybe move Kawhi to the 4.
Okay.
We play T-Man at the 4. We got Nicholas Batum who can play at the 4. Robert Covington. We got a great team. We got a lot of different guys that we can start and play, and they're very versatile. So right now, I really don't know.
Thank you so much, Malika. Now back with Brian and Big Perk. And guys, there was a lot said in that interview, but the one thing that stuck out to me was his emphasis on the regular season. Now, when that new rest policy was announced, we all knew which team they were looking at. But you heard Coach loud and clear. Brian, how important is it for the Clippers to prioritize the regular season?
So here's the thing. I don't actually think the rest policy is going to apply to Kawhi Leonard. I know it's what everybody talks about. I know Kawhi talked about it earlier this day on Media Day. He has a legacy of knee injuries, and he's coming off-season knee surgery, and the league has said under those qualifications they would have a relaxed policy. So I think Kawhi Leonard is going to be able to do whatever he wants to do in terms of rest. And that's why I think Ty Lue and the Clippers want to set the tone that they are really prioritizing getting positive momentum. I'm going to say something else. Had Kawhi not gotten hurt in that series against the Suns last year, I think they might have upset the Suns in the first round, and they may have given the Nuggets a real problem in the second round because I felt they were playing their best basketball, and Kawhi was playing his best basketball in several years. And so I think despite what happens with this team, I still think there's a real a contender with teeth in there. And then the third thing I'm going to say, this is not what the Clippers are going to look like at the end. They are almost certainly going to make some sort of midseason trade. They tried to trade for Brogdon in the offseason. They tried to trade for Harden in the offseason. They tried to trade for Damian Lillard in the offseason. They tried to trade for Drew Holiday in the offseason. They have trade assets. They will have the ability to trade for somebody, probably a guard at some point. So if they get health and they get a positive trade, this team could be higher up than it's getting credit for right now in the balance of power in the Western Conference.
Number one, Wendy, thank you, because I actually picked the Suns last year to win that series. I mean, picked the Clippers to beat the Suns in that series, but Kawhi did go down. That's number one. I wanted to give myself a pat on the back. But number two is this. They're on the clock. Every single year we come in, we talk about, oh, this is the Clippers' opportunity. This is their window. Well, that window is closing. And here's the thing. They're in jeopardy right now of actually losing Ty Lue. Last time I checked, he didn't sign a contract extension. And if I'm him, I wouldn't sign one right now either until I figure out how this season goes and which direction this team is going in the long haul. Secondly, Kawhi and Paul George, they have to deliver. When you look at the duos between them and Jason Tatum, it's night and day what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has accomplished on the long side of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. So this is their year. They have the depth. They have the talent.
I agree.
They don't need to make a trade, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, they're on the clock right now to get something done. And I'm not talking about the conference finals.
And Harden's teammates, they were very excited to welcome him back into the fold at yesterday's practice. And he was out there again today with his Philly teammates. You can check it out right here. So far, everything looks, feels, sounds pretty good. But I'm very grateful because Tim Bontemps, he joins us now live from Sixers training camp. So, Tim, another practice in the books for James Harden. What more can you tell us about what went down today?
Well, 2 days, 2 successful days so far for James Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers here at Fort Collins, Janae. James Harden was actually on the court with his teammates when we got into practice today, a difference from yesterday when he was gone by the time the media got in. Got a couple shots up, then left the gym for a little bit, then came back, hung out with P.J. Tucker for a bit, and then left. But, again, another successful, quiet day as far as drama goes. And when I asked Joel Embiid, what is the expectation going forward for James Harden? Do you think he's going to be here tomorrow and next week and beyond? Or do you really know what the plan is now? He said, look, right now, James Harden is here. He's practicing. We're happy he's here. But we're trying to get our offensive and defensive systems under Nick Nurse in place. And then he went on to talk a lot about the development of Tyrese Maxey, specifically as a playmaker, saying Maxey's making the kind of passes in practice this week that he thinks can lead to Maxey being an all-star this season. That's something Joel said he talked to Maxey about at the start of the offseason, saying if he improved significantly as a playmaker, he would be able to be an all-star this year. And Embiid said it would be his goal to make Maxey an all-star this year. And certainly, if the Sixers have this uncertainty about James Harden's situation going forward, they're going to need even more from Tyrese Maxey, who's really emerged into one of the breakout guards in the league over the past couple of seasons. But look, Janae, after the last couple days, the Sixers feel pretty good about where things stand. But as I said yesterday on the show, this is a day-to-day situation. And right now, they're just happy that they've got 2 drama-free days under their books with James Harden here in Colorado.
Hey, we will always accept drama-free days over here. Thank you so much, Tim. All right, everyone, that's what's happening right now. But, Brian, what do you think happens next for this saga?
It's very hard for me to understand what James Harden's plan is here. I don't fully understand why he opted into his contract in June. I think it really tightened out his options. I don't understand why he was 2 days late to camp. If you're going to hold out, hold out. Why do you come 2 days late? He has not spoken to the media yet, so he has not had a chance to articulate it. I also don't understand how he's going to apply pressure. We saw what he said in China when he very much attacked Daryl Morey, but then he said he wouldn't play for a team with him, but then he is playing for a team with him. So I can understand why the Sixers are a little bit non-committal as to where they think Harden's going to go, because I'm not seeing evidence that he's got a charted course here. And so you are going to go day to day. And I think it's going to be very interesting what he says on the record if and when he finally speaks to the media in the coming days.
Yeah, we'll be looking forward to hearing what he has to say. But, Perk, what happens if James Harden is not traded?
Well, I mean, he has to show up and do his job. That's what he has to do. And he don't have a plan, Wendy, to answer your question. We don't know his plans, and he don't know his plans. And the fact of the matter is that it comes down to this. Right now, James Harden put himself in a lose-lose situation, right? Because if I'm a team across the league, would I take a gamble on James Harden next season? Like, would I extend James Harden or bring him onto my young roster? Say if it's not a championship contender, would I bring him into a locker room with a bunch of young guys that I'm trying to develop, even if you was to pay him, a minimum deal or whatever the case may be? So here's the thing with James Harden. This is an audition for him. If he wants to get the money that he's looking for, or even get close to the money, or even have a job in the NBA next year, he has to make sure that he's on his best behavior and acting like a true professional every single day that he's in the Philadelphia 76ers uniform.
You know, I thought it was good that he didn't talk today, because today should have been Joel Embiid's day. He commits to Team USA. People want to hear from Joel Embiid. This is his day to have the spotlight on him. And James Harden, the second he opens his mouth, becomes the story. Even just the video of him practicing with his team is the story, that he's out there, he looks good. Everyone I talked to yesterday said, you know, the one thing you can say about James is that he loves to play basketball. He is not the kind of guy who wants to sit out and not play. He loves to hoop. He looks like he's been in the gym working out. He's in pretty good shape. And I think it's probably good that he took a day, and there's two days in a row where he's been a model citizen here and showing up and playing basketball and not causing distractions. But what happens tomorrow? Yeah. And nobody knows what happens tomorrow with this situation, because, as Brian pointed out, it doesn't seem like there is a concerted plan here. It doesn't seem like there is an objective here. And it doesn't feel like there are any trades forthcoming for James Harden. The only way for him to rebuild his value in the NBA is to play.
NBA